Alright, so that's it folks, we finally get the third title in the long-awaited game series. Yeah, announced at ParadoxCon 2019 in Berlin last Saturday, we are finally getting Victoria 3 coming. Oh wait. Well, it was about time we get a new Crusader Kings update anyway, it's been a year since the last big one. But first let's talk about the elephant in the room. Where is Victoria 3? And this has become quite a legitimate question now, considering we will get a sequel to a game released post Victoria 2. And actually I don't really care that much at this point, even though I love Victoria 2. Waiting to see what Crusader Kings 3 will be will give us a good insight into what Victoria 3 could become, especially looking back at the previous release from Paradox. It might not be such a good idea to create a Victoria 3 with all the hype it will come with. But anyway, we did get limited information on the upcoming release. Notably, we got a few screenshots of the game. First of all, there will be a complete overhaul of the UI, and I actually appreciate the simplistic theme that it will come with. If we actually look at this first picture where there is a dialogue, it feels more like a RPG prompt than the prompt we were getting in the previous Crusader Kings. It feels more personalized because rather than just having the picture of your character in a remote corner, the character that will be concerned about the event seems to appear very well into the screen, so it seems more personalized than Crusader Kings 2. Really comes up as the interaction between two characters, and you're able to see both of these characters in the screen, which was kind of the case in Crusader Kings 2, even though sometimes characters didn't even match what was going on for your character and the other character. And even the interaction that comes up and the text, the way it's displayed, the options you have, feels a bit more natural than in the previous title. And also, it will depend a lot on the amount of spam we receive from these interactions, because in Crusader Kings 2, maybe it's just because we played too much, but I feel like most people just click randomly whatever comes up. In the second picture, we get a little bit more of insight into the world map. Notably, what we can notice is that the new map looks very decent and beautiful. Even the water texture seems to be very decent. Can now see the settlements directly on the map. As the settlement grows, the model on the map will represent the growth. We still do have pretty similar information coming up when we select a holding, with the county holder, information about the development, the culture, the fate, and also the taxation and the levies. So at that level it seems to be pretty similar. But otherwise the model do look pretty nice, and if we look at the bottom corner we can actually see a sort of church, which indicates that every single holdings will be probably present into the world map. Depending on how it interacts with your army, could mean that if you're a raider coming to raid the coast of England, you can more easily target less defended building with more riches, rather than just sitting on a fort for a couple of months just to keep looting a single province. So that's actually an interesting development that we'll have to follow up with. In the next picture we get the, I think, biggest surprise I could say about this game. It is the RPG-esque skill tree that will come. Depending on your martial skill or diplomacy skill, you'll be able to pick different perks that will allow your characters to become proficient in specific area of the skills. We still don't have much information. We only have the martial lifestyle that is presented here. Here I feel like it's an interesting take, because previously with in Crusader Kings 2 with Way of Life DLC, we had kind of the same perk system that came up depending on your lifestyle and how much time you spent on a lifestyle doing the various pop-up event. It seems more streamlined and casual way to adopt the perks, and it brings the game maybe a bit closer to the role-playing side, where you can actually define a strategy for your character if you're allowed to select the perks as you wish. That also will need definitely more information on the way that it will be implemented in the game, but I don't have a very negative outlook at that. I think it will be an appropriate improvement to the game, adding a little bit more of RPG-ness to it. And in the next picture we go back to the roll view map where we get a little bit more details. For example, we can see a character has been selected. It exposes the different holding of that character. We can get a little bit more of information on how the duchy will be split, how the flags show up. It's still pretty early for the map information, the details it gives us. But if we look at the character information, it looks pretty much like Crusader Kings 2. We can see the trade, the stats, we can see the money, the levy, the prestige. We can also see a family and relationship, and all, as well as the titles and the claim of the character. So that seems pretty standard. We will get 3D models, just like Imperator Rome. I'm still not sure about the appearance of these 3D models. They don't look very sexy to me, just like that. I don't know why, but I prefer the characters we actually had in Imperator Rome. Maybe there will be some development, some improvement in the way that these characters are generated. I think it might be decent and will definitely change from the group of chins that we were looking at in Crusader Kings 2, where everybody had the same chin for some reason. That too, I'm still undecided on whether I like it or not. It feels like it cheapens the game a bit. I pretty much liked the Crusader Kings 2 character portrait. I think they added a personality to the game. I think I'll miss them a bit, but we'll have to see. And the final picture shows more of the world map. And here too we can see like small separation within duchy and the holdings of a player coming up on the map, the different armies. We can see the amount of troops, and it's a pretty nice overview of the world map. I think it makes it look decent. Reminds me a lot of Total Wars games, the way I see it. I would like to see more details about the holdings, whether it will be like in Empire Total War, where when you increase the quantity of holding, they start appearing on the map. I'd like to see if we'll see like some of these developments subdividing into different holdings, or if every holding that exists on the map will be present. If we look on the far right, it seems like there's some holdings that are undeveloped, so maybe that will be the way that the game will go. The holdings will just be plain grass until we build something. So even here we still have to wait, because overall we get very limited information on the title. It's still very early to know much about the game. We definitely feel that it will be a Crusader Kings. Another thing I feel important to mention is Paradox said that every character will be playable apart from merchants and nomads, which is a good step up from the previous two titles, where before the expansion you were only able to play with Christians characters. But I have a feeling that the characters from different faith and culture will maybe only have a generic play mechanism, where they will be very similar to the Christian one until they get their own flavored DLC. Also, I think I have to speak about a controversy that we have on hand, and while the information may already be inaccurate in a few days or whatever, there was an article posted about the exclusion of the term Desvolt, Dursvolt, which is kind of weird in itself. Not because I personally care about the statement made almost a millennium ago, nor that it adds value or immersion to the game. Point in case, I actually verified multiple games about a crusade, and none of them made mention of Dursvolt. Neither did Age of Empires 2, Medieval 2 Total War, and neither did Knights of Honor or the King's Crusade. And as for Stronghold Crusaders 1 and 2, no mention either. Actually, the only games I could find Dursvolt mentions are Crusader Kings 1, where literally it had a single expansion named Dursvolt, and Crusader Kings 2. So much so that on April 1st, 2017, in the Reddit's April Fool that was named R the Place, everybody could participate in a large-scale art project, and there was a little parcel that was carved by the masterful hands of our Crusader Kings, which states the two forbidden words. So just looking at the amount of people talking about this controversy, it almost gets to a surreal point now. I feel like we're facing with something much more simple, just a good old publicity stunt. Whether voluntary or not, I will let you be the judge. But one thing is sure is that a lot of people are talking long and large about it. and we'll probably get more precision in the following up days and weeks, and maybe already by the time I publish this video there will be a conclusion to this saga. But in conclusion for my video, I'm quite excited to see what Crusader Kings 3 will bring to the table, and I think that the future dev diaries will be able to provide us a clear insight in what will be available as base features to the game, since Crusader Kings 2, let's be honest, there's a lot of features that are present, and I don't feel like everything can be incorporated in a base game that follows up. But if they can include very critical features that makes the game great, I'm all for it, and we'll just have to sit by and wait for another couple months and see what comes up at release. And hopefully, in all honesty, I hope that the game will be good. I wish that the game will be good, because for the last few years, the titles that were released felt very bare bones, and it could be a very harsh upcoming for Paradox if they release a follow-up to Crusader Kings 2 that feels empty and void, which I don't think will be a very good thing for them. But hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.